Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. We are expecting some turbulence. Thank you.
Okay, so now we are live.
Hello.
Hello. Before, we already have two viewers. It's Samantha and Moika. Before everyone will call in, I will read up the introduction because I was smart enough to write it down today. So today's topic is very important and it's one of the big ones. And we tackled it a couple times, but this time it will be different. We all do experience that feeling. And my guests today are people that I started to talk about it, and then conversation started to be very interesting. So we stopped it and saved it for today, so everything can happen. I don't know if I'm prepared for that correctly. And please welcome first time in my channel both Rachel Harris, for me often voice of reason and support, and two-time fastest selling Hochanda show, and amazing artist and teacher and person with a lot of experience in that topic, Louise Winters. And I'm doing the presentation with my hands, but they are off frame. I didn't do that into consideration.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, lordy. So everyone are rolling in, and we have hello, and there is already a lot of people watching. So today we will discuss inner saboteur, or however you want to call the creative demon, the self-doubt, inner critic. It's a voice inside. For me, it's in my head, but there is a lot of them in my head. This one is quite strong usually. This voice usually prevents us from trying, making, publishing our works in general. It stops either whole creative process or part of it. And we all feed that negative feeling. And do we all have it? And where it comes from and how to stop it? And that's the topic of today.
Do you think we all have it? Do you think we've all got it in some way?
I think that everyone have it. Everyone who are self-aware will experience it on some point.
We must have. We must all have it. It's just whether we listen, isn't it? And like you say, whether we're aware of that and listen to it.
But it's very hard not to listen to it. From my experience, a lot of creative people, because of bigger sensitivity, we pay close attention to it. I'm my own worst critic. I'm my own worst enemy. And it's often so loud that I can't do anything but hearing that voice that tells me like, oh my God, that's crap. You just made crap. Just, you are worthless. That's what you're producing. That is the outcome of your creative freedom. Then you should not have that creative freedom at all, lady. You should sell all your supplies.
Yeah, that's like your worth, isn't it? That's worthless. And that's really, really difficult, that one, isn't it? Because it's I think I tend to, like Rachel, I'll start if you don't mind. I try my best to shut the door on mine. I have a little strategy where I won't allow it any presence. It does happen, but if that negativity starts being the main issue, I close it down. I have like a visual, well, in my head, I have a visual door, and that's a lot of the time that comes from CBT and different sort of strategies. But I have a door that I say, no, but it doesn't mean I don't acknowledge it, because it's, to me, it's like a crying child, and it's forever sort of nagging you. And if you don't give it the attention, then it'll still nag. So give it the attention when I'm ready. And that's just a little strategy that I use. I'm not saying it works for everybody, but then when that door shuts, I become creative. Otherwise, I'll never become creative, because I'm always listening to that silly voice that is louder than everything else.
And we have a cool comment from Shamala. Hello, South Africa. Shamala says, I suffer from imposter syndrome because I have no artistic background, hence the constant feeling that I'm not good enough. Belinda Basson gives me a huge push and courage to overcome it.
Wow.
And there was one more. Oh, yes, I have it here. I was constantly put down as a child and find it very difficult to ignore my lack of confidence. And the last one from Angela, depends if you are a reflective person or not. I think that there are those who don't have it.
Yeah, I get that. And yeah, how do you deal with the things that come to you like that, Rachel? How do you get through it?
Well, gosh, I think this is such a big, huge subject, and for me, it's it's a constant thing of constant lesson and a constant thing of learning. But I think the important thing is to acknowledge it, but to not give it power over you, and that's the important thing, because otherwise you're going to get into a shame spiral and nothing's ever going to be good enough, and that's not a good place to be. So I think we have to break it down into the different elements, because you have where you're conceptualizing what you're going to make. So are you feeling like that then? And then you've got the actual process of making the item. Are you feeling like that then? And then you've got your outcome. And are you feeling like that then? And it's finding the spot that means something to you and working from that. So it could be that you really enjoy the process of making, yet you're not really attached to the outcome of it.
That's me.
And yeah.
That's me.
And so then it would be, bringing your focus to okay, well, am I enjoying this process of making it? Yes, I am. Well, that's where my focus will be. And I won't worry about the outcome. The outcome will be whatever it will be.
Nailed it.
I mean, obviously, there is that whole deeper element of people not feeling good enough and imposter syndrome. They're very, very real, and they're not fun to deal with at all. But we have to try and keep ourselves in the here and now. And the best way to keep ourselves in the here and now is to focus on what we're doing, as you know, Lou, with your mindful moodling. Because if you let yourself be regressed by feelings of worthlessness that come from previous experiences, then you are going to spiral into those feelings deeper. Whereas if you're focusing on what you're doing and you're in the here and now, you're not going to spiral into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a huge point. That you nailed it there. Absolutely. If you say you can't, or if you say you can, you're always going to be right.
Yeah,
that's what someone said to me, and I was like, wow, yeah. So the more you say you can, the more you'll be right, and you won't do it. The more you say you can, you will do it, and you will be right. And I think it's such a simple sentence. That can't be right, can it? But it actually is. It actually is. And I was like, yeah, but you nailed it there. I think you probably nailed it for quite a few. What about you, Olga? What do you do? What do you?
In 1 second, because we have a really cool comment.
Ooh.
When I was in school, you couldn't do art if you couldn't draw, and it's only now that I know that art is not all about drawing, and being artistic comes in many forms. And I think that for a lot of people, we had the mention about it earlier, because I'm spoiled princess, only child, never was put down, never was told that I'm not good enough, and all of that. My inner voice, uh, that negative, critical voice, have to be my own. Not, I can't blame anyone else for it. And unfortunately, for me, it comes with ADHD and with constant feeling of being overwhelmed. I First time when I experienced it, I stopped being attached to my work. So I don't process my emotions, or I don't want to say that my makes are meaningless, because not necessarily that extreme, but I use creative process to let my thoughts flow, just freely flow, and just to be as hyperactive as they want. That's why often when I do live streams, I'm losing my point really fast. When I start to touch supplies and play with colors, I will lose my point, because my thoughts are already trained to just flow to the direction that they want. But for me, when it happens, when I have that negative, really negative thought, that freaking voice is so loud, I will not even approach my desk, because I can't.
Really?
I avoid it. I avoid when I'm in the bad space. I avoid doing anything. So being a kind of artist, because I also don't have any artistic background or whatsoever. I'm marketing manager in theory, so nothing artistic in that.
Oh, there is.
But because I do use different forms of being creative as the form of supporting myself, uh, and of my income. When I'm in the bad space, that causes a big issue, because I can't work on my actual artworks. I can't work on any designs, on anything creative. So that stops income, and that puts me in that spiral that, especially in times like that when we have crisis, it's just constant spiral of feeling bad and not being able to do stuff, and not being able to do stuff because I feel bad. And sometimes it's like how to escape, how to break that pattern.
Well, I think one of the things that really helped me in the past has been the fact that I am not precious about my work, and it's almost, as we were speaking the other day, it's like an exorcism. I like your word, an egoism. It's like I'm not interested in that, and I'm only interested in the journey. It doesn't mean I don't care about the outcome, but I think it's like when I'm doing my work, it looks ugly and awful, but you've got to get through the ugly bit. You've got to fight through the ugly bit, and it'll come out right. And that ugly bit might last a bit longer, or it might be a short time, but it works in all aspects. So I look at a piece of work and it's really rough, and if you base your judgment on that, you're gonna go, ooh. But if you think, no, I've got to keep on till I'm happy with it, whether I like it or not is different. That's different. It's whether I'm happy with it. That's how I get it sort of thing. But I'm not precious about what it looks like, because sometimes it's not about that. Like I say, it's a journey.
How did you arrive at that point? Because for me, for a really long time, it was about how the final outcome will look like, up to the point that I kind of find my style. My style is I like that stuff. I like a little bit of gory, so skeleton here, a little bit blood over there. So as soon as I discovered that that brings me the most joy, I have to be okay with the fact that if I will post it, not everyone will like it, because not everyone thinks that whatever I define as pretty, beautiful, or nice, they will have completely different definition of that. So on some point, it was just like, fuck it. If I like it enough to post it, that means it can't be so bad, because I never get
So
the comment.
to it. That's how I came to the realization of it. I wasn't doing it because I was putting all the pressure on myself to have a finished, wonderful item, and I wasn't getting that. So the minute I sort of said, "Oh, I'm forgetting about the journey. I'm enjoying the time I'm doing it," it just switched off. Just absolutely switched off, and I tell you what, the journey's not finished till it's over. I put that piece of work away, and I'll come back to it in 2 years, and I think, did I do that? But at the time, it wasn't the time to do it. But yeah, you've got to enjoy the journey, and if you don't go with a plan, but if you've got ADHD, that could be quite difficult for you, because that's what you have to have that structure sometimes, and that is like going against what you need. So, but you could still use the same idea, just walk away and leave it, but not allow yourself. You can have a bad day, but you can't have two. That's what I say to myself. You can have one bad day, but you can't have two. And I don't know how that works for others. So
we have some comments. Ali says that she enjoys the doing, so the process, and on her bad days, she finds it hard to craft, but feel happier having got inky. So through the process. And Shamala is like, I have given myself permission. Oh my God, you want to kill me with those hard words. To mess up and to regain the upper hand by finding a solution to fix it. I find people appreciate you then, because realize that they are not alone, and that is true. That's why a lot of times I started to enjoy doing live streams when I stopped obsessing over, oh my God, what will be the final outcome? Because often it doesn't matter. Because if I fuck up on the screen, then others will see that everyone can fuck up. Everyone have those moments when you will, I don't know, you will get messy and you will just spoil the ink over everything. You had it a couple of times. You showed some technique and then you put the elbow on your work, or you had something on your finger and you want to remove something, but your fingers are so dirty that it will just become a big smudge. And every time you laugh it off, because like when it happens to me, I'm usually like, oh fuck, what now? And you don't even have that moment of pause. When something will go wrong, you will just laugh at it and be like, yeah, okay, I will make another one, and this one will go to the naughty corner and we will get back to it later on.
That's I think it comes over the idea of not being precious, but I think the main thing is, I think the words I'd use was keep, not about being on telly or like Rachel's got incredible talent with the DTs. It's be real, isn't it? Be real with yourself and be real with what you do.
It is. I think it is being real. very much being real, but I think as well, I think people need to understand there's a difference between creating to promote products and creating for the joy of creating. You know, there is that difference, and you don't want to get caught up in comparing yourself to some of the people that are out there doing amazing things, selling their products, because they will have spent hours, days, weeks even preparing the one thing that you're looking at and thinking, oh my God, why can't I do something like that? Well, because they've spent years probably conceptualizing what they're doing, months preparing it, weeks doing, I mean, the time is phenomenal that goes into some of these promos and some of these workshops that people do. They've been workshops I've done, you've done, Lou, you've done, Olga. It takes a lot of preparation, isn't it? I mean, we're not just turning up on the day and saying, bish, bosh, there you go, you can do this. There's an awful lot of work that goes in behind. So, I would urge people, do not compare yourself to anything that you see in workshops or in promotional material, because there's a hell of a lot of time and knowledge that's gone into that. And that's not to say that can't come with time, but it's also to say, we're bombarded by all these perfect images of how things should be, and then we're looking at the work that we do and thinking, well, why isn't mine like that? And I just think, no. We need to celebrate creativity, full stop. We're human beings. We're born to be creative, and we're born to enjoy that process. Absolutely. And anything that's taking that enjoyment away from us is not a good thing.
Don't you think, though, when you see these things and you hear, it really saddens me when I hear people say, oh, look at that, I can't do that. Well, that's just going to set you up for a fall straight away. But, I remember at school, my art teacher saying to me, Withers, get out of the class, you can't draw a breath properly. And that stayed with me, that. But the thing is, I hadn't found what I was good at. And that you have to find something that gives you confidence that you can then put that confidence into all the other things. And people, it might take you 30 years to draw something, but the idea is that you bring it to people in a way that they can achieve it without having to do all that 40 years or 30 years. And I think, they've got to allow themselves that. You can't just pick up a pencil and draw something like a photograph. You're not born running, are you? These are all skills that you have to learn. Very, very few people who are innately talented. There's a lot of autistic people, without being rude to, who have really honed skills. Stephen Lutcher is an amazing photographic memory, and he draws. And that's to me, that's a genius. That's a talent. He's a savant, but very few people have those skills, and it's just to expect yourself to go, right, here's my pencil and drawing. Oh, I've done a picture now that's equivalent to that person who's done it for 30 years. He's so hard on himself. It's not realistic, is it? But that's what you do.
It's good that you mentioned that autistic trait of just picking something up, because as somebody who is living with autistic person, I would not make that trait, because that ability of just having it comes with the price. Nothing is for free. Either you have to spend time on practicing, or you have to sacrifice something. And the sacrifices that you have to do to be able just to pick that thing. And aside of that, I think that it would make, for example, Rachel, extremely unhappy, because then you have only that one thing, and only that one thing interests you. And when she has such a broad spectrum of things that fascinate her, you have the same thing, because here is jewelry, here is modeling, here is a little bit of doodling, here is a little bit this and that and this and that. that speaks very heavily to my ADHD brain. My thing was always obsessing over the product. So I will get a new product. I have to know absolutely everything about it, what it will make, if I will add water, if I will add alcohol to it. I just have to know how it will behave. And all those experiments are taking hours, and nobody
Would you
is
do that on
seeing that.
screen?
No,
Would you not do that
because
on screen live? Would that have
I
to be done
would,
before?
but then I'm afraid that it
Oh,
will impact my process, because I want to see what will happen if I will leave it to dry for overnight. If it will change something, if I will play with it when it's dry, when it's half dry, what will happen if I will scoop some of it and leave it open? And, I will approach it every half of hour and poke it with the stick and check if the consistency is changing, how fast it's drying. Yeah, when it's drying, is it stringy or is it getting just hard and crumbly? I want to know those things, because then
you do.
I can go off the cuff. When I know the product, then I can go and freestyle something and more or less
Absolutely.
expect what will happen.
I'm totally with you there. But Rachel, I know Rachel's the same. I can speak as a friend. She's the same. You have to explore everything, don't you, Rachel? We speak sometimes about just one product and it will be on and on and on and on. But it's just, really experiment with this stuff. And that, to me, is like yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's being creative. It's absolutely, that is creativity. I mean, this is a thing I think we forget, is getting dressed, cooking breakfast for ourselves, making a cup of tea. It's all creativity. It's all being creative, and it can be as artistic as you want it to be. And I think, that can transfer into all areas of life. I think that internal critic is there for everybody, and I think it's really important to learn to tell it to go away. Really important.
We can segue to the comment. Wait, before you go further, because it's really cool conversation.
I really like this comment. Yeah.
Angela said also, as there still seem to be a chasm between art and craft, and some artists are really nutty about us. And
Absolutely.
for this one, Carol has really good response. I can accept and understand constructive criticism, but when a person just names a nasty personal comment regarding my work, I find both self and soul destroying. As she had the experience, her former partner was like that, and it stayed deeply with her. And we have Andrew and I are both very self-critical, but we encourage each other. I force myself to set dates for lives so that I have to find the time to craft. I often feel guilty for spending time on me. And with those couple comments, I have the really, really weird thought, because, like things that other people can say about me or my art are never hurting me. Like they are just like water on the duck's back, because that inner voice, that criticism that I will tell myself, I never get a comment that will come as harsh as the things that I can tell myself about myself based on something that I just created. And those comments might be also regarding something that I created and I'm happy with it. And I will still find something nasty to tell myself about it.
And yeah, it's that chasm. The first question was a really good one because I think when I was at school, there was a huge problem. But now, when I was first approached, like when I first left teaching, one of those things was the reason. But I wanted to make sure that there was, why was this snotty element between art and craft when craft's been around and an integral part of our life since dot. And I think I came to the conclusion that if you wear it, it's craft. If you put it on the wall, it's art. So if we made a jumper and put it on the wall, it'd be art. And people just regard it as art on the wall, or you walk around a sculpture. And I think that's what we've had it put into our head. But all those skills that the artists use now, you bring them into your mixed media or your craft or anything, the transferable skills. All the skills we've learned are transferable. You just have to make sure that you're not too hard on yourself when you're doing it, and that's what I'm hoping to bring to people, saying, no. I might have this, I might have that, but when I sit and bead or stitch, then that is as important, if not more important, because that's my downtime than my work. It's just, I hope it's changing. I hope people are seeing that, because there are so many people.
But why call something craft? Because it might be me just being language dumb. It happens time to time. But that's like the name that we put on stuff. Is it art? Is it craft? It's just the name. It doesn't matter, because I often look at the masterpieces that people would have to sell all the organs and probably still cannot afford it. And I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, this is a piece of crap. I would never hang it on my wall. Like,
it's only the value is only what you're willing to pay for it. Value is that whatever somebody's willing to pay for it is that value, and that's it. Sorry, Rachel, what was you going to say then, my lovely?
No, I was going to say I purposefully call all creative endeavors art because of that chasm that's out there between artists and crafters, because I call bullshit on that. I think all creativity is art, and like if you want to call it art, it's art, and it is art. It is art, whatever. And I hate this whole it's a card maker, that's an artist. It's all art. It's all creative.
Don't you think it's the person's insecurity though? Because what does it matter?
I think insecurity I think it matters because what it does is it perpetuates these judgments, which then get internalized, which help people then become their own worst critics. That's why I think it matters, and I think it's really important to call that out, because I think there's enormous skill and work that can go into all kinds of creativity, and we can't, who are we to decide what is art? I mean, you can go to see half of a dead animal in formaldehyde, and that's art. You can go and see abstract. You can go and
just because it's art doesn't mean you have to like it, does it? You don't have to like it. Just because someone else likes it and spent 29 million on it, doesn't mean you have to. But that's what makes it art. That person likes it. You don't have to like it. However, it's good to appreciate it. Can I tell you one thing before we go on to this question? When I took my mum to a gallery in Manchester, and we walked in, and she went, "What's this pile of crap here? It looks like a jumble sale." And I went, "Okay, yeah, that was knee-jerk initial reaction." I said, "Just read about it, Mum. Just go and have a little read." And it was about the Holocaust. She came away crying because she'd just gone off. The first thing she saw, gave it no respect. When she read about it, she didn't like it because of all the family and everything, but she understood it and appreciated it. And that's what we don't do enough. We just go in there, I don't like it, that's fine. But you can appreciate how it's there, why it's been done, and maybe the effort that's gone into it. But you don't have to like it. But it's the difference between labeling it crap and someone, yeah, that's crap. Yeah, you tell me it's crap, tell me why it's crap. And then I'll accept what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if you can't tell me that, don't speak.
But you
Who
know,
is anybody to say
with
something's
that
bad?
is opinions are like assholes. Everyone have one. So you know you are perfectly allowed to share yours. And since we moved here to Berlin, we have entire street basically of galleries. And when you are passing by, you can see a huge difference because they have big windows. So you walk on the street and you are exposed to different things. In one, it will be beautiful painting. In next one, there will be sculptures. Then you are passing a freaking empty room with the sink on the wall. And then you know you have another gallery and again empty room with a pile of old tires on the middle. And because it's so different, I don't like probably all of them. I don't know the reason behind them, but obviously if they made it over there, there there have to be something for someone over there.
Yeah.
Somebody
Absolutely.
have to see something in it or have something to say about it. Though lately, because of the topic is circulating, so my algorithm adjusted, and I happened to stumble upon couple stories, like guy that went to the modern art gallery and he just hang on the wall, print out. He made it himself. He just made a poster that says, "I'm worthless piece of shit." And he just hung it on the on the empty wall in the gallery when nobody was looking. And
Banksy did
you know,
that.
15 minutes later, there was a bunch of people who were making pictures of that, assuming that it's a, oh my god, that have to be art. I will. It's on the wall. I will make a picture. So yeah, make your own judgment, and you are not uh, forced to like it. But no matter if you call it art, craft, or whatever, you know, there is enough room for everyone. If
It's
somebody expressed themselves in a certain way, then good for them.
sometimes it's
Well,
like an association as well, isn't it? You see something and that brings your memories, or even a trigger, and it's like good or bad. That will give you that instant. And it's about sort of stepping back and saying, okay, I understand that that might have that sort of significance to me, but I'm going to read about it. And that's the one thing I always say to people. Initial reaction's great, but understand why you react like that and then think about what you've done. And I think that's my biggest thing to anybody is ask yourself that question, why? And I think once you've done that, you learn to do a lot of other things. Why am I behaving like this? Why am I saying that? Why am I doing that? What are the reasons? And by the time you're asked that self, well, it's the CBT thing. By the time you've asked yourself that question, you've forgotten what you was asking the question about.
I think we need to stop using good and bad as well. And instead of saying, you know, oh, this piece of work is good or this piece of work is bad, it's more a matter of I like this piece of work or I don't like this piece of work. And I think that can apply to our own work as well as the things that we see around us, because there is no good or bad. It is what it is. And it's really just a matter of personal taste and whether you like something or
Exactly.
not.
Exactly. It's
And
personal
with the
taste.
example that Lou gave, I honestly cannot imagine that somebody would create a piece of art about Holocaust that in the first look would be beautiful, because
No,
everything that is
no,
behind it, it will not be beautiful. It is
exactly.
about something that was not beautiful. So
It's
how the
preconceived
outcome
ideas.
can be beautiful. Okay, so let's
There was a question
let's
from
let's
Sarah.
scroll through the comments, because I see that the new ones are popping
Sarah
all the
mentioned
time.
something. There you go.
Yeah, we have Sarah. I regularly feel that I'm not good enough, especially when I see all the amazing work that others share. But
Wow.
it's helpful to be reminded that you can enjoy creating without focusing on the outcome.
Mm,
And you
And
know
definitely.
what? Your work's normally better when you do that because
Mm,
you're not worried about what you're doing.
yeah.
Do you not agree? I do. Oh, I fixate. I can't believe it's hard for me to believe that because I think Sarah's work's amazing.
Yeah, me too.
So
like we have the
and I look at your
conversation.
work, I think, wow, it's wonderful, both of yours. And I get that though. I get that. I get what she's saying because I relate that very much to myself. It's like,
Mm,
oh, mine's nowhere near as good as that. Because I laugh about mine to take the emphasis off it, not liking it. So I laugh about it or, oh, it don't matter and that. But, I've grown to be like that because otherwise I just close down and I'd go, oh, and I couldn't go on. So yeah, I really get that. I really get that.
And I
It's
have the conversation with Sarah before, because we were talking before she went to make a show in Telly, and she was like, "Oh, I hope that you will be happy with what I will make." And to be fair, I was happy, and I would be happy with anything that somebody can create in that time frame. Because for me, that time that they give you, I will maybe make a decision which brush I will use. Maybe. Because I'm a snail. It takes ages for me to
mm,
do something. And when you have to do stuff off the course and you work under the time pressure and you have somebody constantly disturbing you with something from outside, I would be stress ball and I would create absolutely nothing. My table will be still empty and I would just
but
try to talk my way out of it.
you've just hit the note. Going right back to the beginning though. This comes down to knowing your product, doesn't it? If you know what happens when you do that, and that, when you go to do it, you can say, oh, you can do that and I can do that. If you didn't know that, there's not a lot of people I know who'd get through a demo if they didn't know the product. It's about
Because
pulling on all those experiences or things you've done. Like what you said, you've got to know your product. That's
live demo is something completely different than live stream. And most of my demo samples and most of the demo samples from almost anyone that I saw demoing live, it's not to create a masterpiece, it's to show you what is the product, how it
yeah,
works, and why you might need it or how you can incorporate it into your make.
yeah.
The beautiful outcomes is something that usually comes with a lot of time spent on something, practicing, or maybe having the idea behind it, but also
Or
having
having
time to
wonderful dreams.
execute it. And
Having
like
wonderful
on the show,
dreams. It's bad. Yeah, I mean, it helps. I totally agree with you. Sarah's probably backing me with this one, but if I didn't have people like Rachel, and that wouldn't to sell a product. I cannot do all that in 40 minutes, and they're the ones that show you what you can do. And I am forever and forever, ever for everybody, especially my friends DT. I don't like calling them DT, but they are my friends. I'm forever grateful for what they do because they are the ones that show you what you can do. I don't. I only show you what you can do with it. They show you what it looks like. And to me, you've got a great team like I have, then hands down, you winner. Hands down.
Angela
Rachel is
made.
amazing.
I do agree that Rachel is amazing. She sparked in me love to the product that I thought that I will never love. I knew how it works. I had it for ages, and it was just sitting on my shelf up to the point that she shared something made
Yeah.
with it, and it just somehow put me in the completely new space
Really?
of discovering fun again. But Angela's comment, I get overmined by disassociating, you're really killing me with the words, myself from the finished work, and I have no attachment to it. And it's more about the process for me. So I do opposite thing. I allow myself to get attached to my work when it's finished and when I know how it looks. Because if I will allow myself to attach to the piece before it's done, it will never be done. It will never
No,
be
no.
as good as the feeling that I'm trying to attach to the dead object. I'm trying to transfer my feeling to paper and paint, and that that is not an easy translation between those two.
Don't you? I find I'm more precious with other people's artwork than I am my own.
Oh yeah, that's
Fab
always the
one.
case.
Look after it
I
and
think
appreciate it. Love it. But mine, no, but others, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was I assume that it's the case for everyone because like my shelf behind me, it's on
Beautiful.
my display. I have everything that I ever got from someone. It was sent it to me, or I begged for it on the show, or I steal it for someone. But everything that was sent to me was given to me.
Yeah.
I treat it like a piece of art, and it can be uh, some people say that it's just a card, it's just a card making. Because I don't do it, it's not just a card making. For me, it's a beautiful card that I want to put on my shelf and
Time,
play with
love,
it. Every time when I'm
effort.
sad, I can pick all my little trinklets and look at it and be like, oh my God, somebody cared enough to spend time
Absolutely.
and make it for me.
That's the most precious thing you can give somebody is your time. You can't give, if
Um,
you can't give money, it's not about that, it's about time. Giving someone time. And that could be a lifeline for somebody, just 5 minutes of your time. It's very, very potent, is that?
we
Are you
have a lot
okay,
of
Rachel?
comments.
You're going in and out
Uh,
then. Are you okay, my lovely?
we have a lot of comments to catch up with.
Oh, yes,
We have
please.
Shamela. Many times I hate something I'm working on, and when I go back to it afterwards, it looks better. So I have
Yeah,
learned to put aside and go back later with the fresh eyes. And
perfect.
that's a really good approach and a
It is.
really good tip for everyone because I also have entire box of the
Yeah,
projects that I
definitely.
just it doesn't happen. I mean, I put so much time in it, too much time to put it in the bin, but
Yeah.
it's not getting anywhere. So let's just put it on how Iveta likes to call it, naughty shelf. For me, it's a box. It have to be out of sight. And
Yeah, I
then
find that.
sometime after, I will dig it out and I will be like, "Ooh, I have this one. I can work with my new technique on this one."
Absolutely. What about you, Rachel? Do you do that? You're very much like me. You're not posh as
Mm.
about the out. No, my love. Oh, you're going in and out. Have we lost her?
Yeah, she will be back in a second.
Once it's done, and I want a shot of it.
But it is an exorcism, isn't it? It's almost like you're getting rid of those feelings that you had when you did it. But if it's really meaningful, like a journal, I'd never get rid of that.
And I throw so things like
I tell you off for that.
Well, I'm just as everybody else is. I'm my own harshest critic, and if I don't think something's good enough, I just throw it away and start again.
I have conversations with you, where you said, and I'm like, get it out of the bin, don't you dare throw it away. But that's different eyes, isn't it? That's different eyes looking at it, and different.
I'm trying to like avoid inserting myself into that conversation because I do the same thing.
I don't bin anything. I do bin it if I don't need it. But what I mean is I always work on it. Go on, Rachel. Have we lost you? Yeah,
I enjoy the process, and I really don't mind doing the same thing.
Ah, that's a good one. Repeating.
Okay. In a second.
Blathers is on now.
Yeah. Rachel, you have a little slightly itsy-bitsy issue with the sound. So if you could go out and back to the studio, it should fix itself because I cannot fix it for you in studio. I tried.
That's an interesting question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would I do with
it? We have. Wait, Rachel. No, I can't kick her out because then she will not be able to come back. Wait, maybe I can just unpin her and pin her back.
Yep.
Oh, no, she will come back. Okay, now she disappeared. We can go through the comments and Rachel will catch up because I think that she's watching on the second device. I always used to ask myself what I would do with my art when it was finished. Took a while to accept that enjoying doing it was enough. Okay, and we have Rachel back. And she's back? Yes, she is back. She is back. Yeah.
Yay!
I'm back. It wouldn't be me if I didn't have a technical issue.
We have another one. Sometimes I really don't feel the love for a project and have to leave it, maybe for a day, maybe for longer, but eventually I will get back to it and get it done. Angela has something also in that matter. It's if it's your livelihood and career, it's very precious to keep producing an art. And art isn't like making a cake, and I think that cake making can also be an art because I like to eat
I used to love making arty cakes. I loved it, but I agree. Yeah, that's where I've got to be really true to myself, Angela, regarding the TV. I have to be right because if it's not right, I won't sell it, and if I don't believe in it, I won't sell it because it's not fair. And the minute I get bored with my stuff, I stop and I do something else because I know you're going to get bored with it. So yeah, there was a comment made the other day about having fresh artists doing stuff every month, and that's great. Yeah, but there's a lot of people out there who can't afford to do that, but they try and bring you something from them different every month. That's the difference, I feel. But as long as you're not trying to churn it out, nah. I'd have. It's like teaching. I'd have to. I'm very what's the word? I'm very true like that. I can't lie to myself or use. So I have to be careful with that. What's a mistake? Sorry.
I think that's a mistake. That was regarding conversation that we had before, that comparing ourselves to others is a mistake, because like, we can aspire to have. I don't think that for a really long time I want to make stuff exactly like that person. It's more like I would like to have so much creative freedom or so much knowledge to be able to execute my ideas with such an ease like someone. But in most cases, I if I like something that somebody else is doing, I will try to purchase it, maybe swap with them for something that I do, rather than going and being like someone. I like to take little bits, and add my own twirl to them.
Otherwise, it's not yours. Inspired by is not copying, is it? Copying is great as long as you make it your own, I think, don't you?
I like both, and I accept both, because some people, especially when they come for life. Yeah, Rachel?
Yeah, I think we can learn technique from it.
Just not hearing you, my lovely.
She said that she thinks that we can learn.
I think there's something off with my sound still.
You're okay now. You're brilliant now.
A little bit might be off, but we will work on it later on. But what Rachel said is that by copying, you can learn a technique, and that's true.
That's absolutely. I mean, tracing is really important as well, but as long as you learn it for muscle memory and pen stroke depth and the feel for your pen, that's different. That's not tracing as tracing to completely nick someone's idea is different. It's totally different. I mean, everybody traces. Years and thousands of years of artwork has been used. Tracing has been the thing, like the handprint in France where they've spat over the hand. That's tracing the outline of your hand. But it's just our built-in idea that you can't copy that because that word means you're emulating somebody's ideas and nicking them. Well, no, you've got to get rid of that a little bit, haven't you? It's not. It's a way of learning back from and by doing that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And like, I do accept both forms, because sometimes we have people who are coming for classes or for the live stream just that's their process, to have all the prompts, all the products, don't have to think about it, because that might be the issue. The decision making might be the issue. So when it's narrowed down and somebody is just telling you, do this, do that, and they are happy with it, then I'm completely happy with it as well. It doesn't make it any less of the creative or artsy outcome, as long as it sparks joy. I absolutely love that anonymous comment that somebody wants to be constant.
I love that.
Yeah, but it turned that they are Picasso, and we often just don't appreciate what we have, because we the eyes are so far behind the horizon that you don't see all the milestones that you are passing by.
Absolutely. Well, Picasso, it's interesting. Hey, yes, Rachel, great stuff. Picasso spent years and years and years trying to perfect his drawing, and then he just, when he did that, and he thought, do you know what, I really don't like this, and wanted to give up and go back to his naive drawings, and they're the ones that were popular. So, you know, the grass isn't always greener when you get there. You've got to find what you're good at. You've got to find what you're good at and do that. Hey, you're back, Rachel.
She's back, but yes, she
I
is.
don't know how long for.
Yeah, because when you are pausing, we don't know if you have pause or is it internet. Because I would blame your internet connection for for those pauses. And Carol made a great comment. I'm grateful to Lou for her life. I only do things
my internet,
for me.
My internet
and
connection is Telly.
And moodling has helped. And moodling has helped a lot. And above all, her concept of neuro art, which I love.
And the confidence you get through that, you can apply it to everything. I've seen Carol's confidence grow so much, even just commenting on other people's work and stuff. So that is an amazing. I love watching that. I love watching people sort of not being rude. Please don't take it this way, but lurkers coming forward and being more active in the group because they feel that they've got a voice and it is important and confident enough to use it. And I applaud that because that makes my heart sing.
And that is quite important thing. It was in my wrap up for today because if you are watching on YouTube, both of the ladies are big guys in in JAMA group. Oh my God, I forgot to put on the screen because I'd
love to do this again if you will have me. I'd love to do it again. I just find it so interesting what other people say and questions and knowing that people are just like me and I'm not on my own feeling like this, you know, and they're not. What's your parting gift, Rachel, to somebody?
I will post a link, so if anyone watching us anywhere wants to join on the screen, you can also join without camera, just with your voice. Then you have to make that decision when you are clicking the link. It will give you some options. But if you want to say something, feel free to click it, and as soon as I will see you, I will let you know. But the group itself, for me, the biggest change and the most that I learned from others, and that's how I usually avoid getting stuck or getting my own head to get in my own way. When I have an issue, I will call my friends. That's why I said that Rachel is my voice of reason, because when I'm doing something and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know, I will just FaceTime my friends, show them what I'm doing, and be like, what do you think? I think something is missing, but I don't know what. And they always give me some creative feedback, some constructive criticism. So they never will tell me like, that's ugly. Maybe I will feel like, yeah, it might not be the best one of you, but I still see something nice over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And having a group of crafty friends is very important. And I know that a lot of people who are watching us, they don't have the access or the courage to find those people. And that's why we have JAMA group, because it's very positive, focusing on encouragement. And I often see the posts, oh, it's the first time when I'm showing something. And that person, it might be the first time that they even touched any of the products. And there is always a huge positive feedback because it's about the process. It's about being creative. It's about fighting all those real issues. Because, like the fact that you will make a card or page that you don't like on the big picture of entire issues that we all struggle with, is it will be a small problem 2 days from now, because something else will happen. We had pandemic, we had crisis, we had so many big stuff that are worth of spending time on worrying about. And like art and our makes are just not worth of worrying about them and beating ourselves over it.
Yeah, I think don't you think
that's my fault.
I'd say though, sometimes when you're looking at your work, it's not the work that you're down on; it might be yourself.
I think.
Yeah, Rachel, go on.
No, you've gone.
Go on.
That's a lovely comment, Carol. Thank you.
I think we just you have in a critic. It's probably for somebody not to. And I think that stop us doing this. We do all have this.
I don't know what Lou will get for her birthday tomorrow, but I know that Rachel will get a new mic.
Oh.
Yeah, because Rachel struggles a little bit with sound issues, but I'm quite certain that we will have to repeat the meeting.
I hope you invite me back. I'd love to.
With two of you. Oh yeah, she's back and out. I'm sure that she will get a new mic. I'm pretty certain.
That's so nice. What Carol's wrote there.
Carol always leaves me a very encouraging
human
comment.
beings doing our best.
Of course we are.
Yes. And your best.
But she's very positive, Carol. Very positive. And yet she's not confident in her own right, but she's very positive. What a lovely lady.
I don't know who have to hear it, but like if you're doing your best and you still think it's not enough, then you are wrong, because your best is the best that you can do, and it should be enough for you and everyone else. If you know in your heart that you did your best.
You can't be anybody else. You can only be the best you. You can't. You can want to be like somebody, but you can't be them. You've got to be you, and that's it. As long as you know that. Oh.
That is Marcia saying that Lou and Rachel are very special ladies who I know I can confident in and look to for advice and encouragement.
Thank you.
And that is the entire soul of the group, because I didn't see one asshole over there that would go and be like, oh, this is shit, this is crap, this is this, this is that.
Kick them out. They don't even get a voice in ours. No, it's a safe place. Kick them out. We do that enough to ourselves. We don't need anyone else doing it as well. Just get rid of it. No.
Yeah.
And that's exorcism, because mine is through talking about it, because the voice is so loud. I have to talk over it to myself, to somebody else. Usually I prefer somebody else to have bounce back. But my way is just to talk over it until you cannot hear it anymore.
Funny that. I have to listen to my books at night on Audible so that I can go to sleep. Otherwise, all I hear is that all night in my head. All I hear is that Critic. So I listen to my Audible, my headphones, and I listen to things that I really like, Harry Potter, and I'm okay. That's weird, isn't it? But that's how I go to sleep. Otherwise, I would never go to sleep.
No, that's interesting because I fall asleep to listening to true crime documentaries, and it makes me calm and peaceful.
You're taking your mind away from that, what is in your head, aren't you? You're focusing on something else and shutting that door.
Yeah, it have to be art, not related. It have to be something completely different.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd concentrate and you'd never go to sleep.
Because if it's something that really truly passionates me, I will not fall asleep. I will
like
suddenly awaken. And that's the thing that Rachel told me about it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I can so relate to that. That she will already be asleep, but then she have an idea, and she have to get up and go and check it, because otherwise she will not fall asleep. She will not get in peace until she will not try it out.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's happened to us all, isn't it? That's why some people have a little notebook by the bed and they just write it down to get that exorcism. It's almost like get it out of your head onto paper. It means that you won't forget it in the morning. It's in your book. I have a book with me all the time. I have two. I have this one. This is a new one. I have a little one that I carry with me because I need to do that. I need to sort of just pull it out and put it in there. Like Albus Dumbledore.
I did have the notebook and the pen next to my bed, but a couple weeks ago the pen fell behind the bed, and since then it stopped working.
I love my books. I write copious amounts, and people just think I wing it on the telly. I don't. I can show you now. There's my plans for the telly. There's all my plans for the telly. You know,
and it's like so many notes.
Pardon?
You are so many notes. You know, you like pointed out everything, because my notes are just main topics.
As you said about knowing your product. Oh yeah, you can do that and you can do that. So sometimes I might be sat there and I go, what do I do now? And I'll go, oh, I could do that, and then it brings me back. So, but I sit there sometimes with Rachel, and we'll talk back and forth, and she'll give me ideas and I'll give her ideas, like you're saying about inspiring criticism but constructive, and that really helps me, because you might not be as confident in one area as your friend is, and they might be able to structure that way. That's priceless, that.
Yeah, and it's good to have that support, and I would encourage anyone who needs crafty friends to hop into the group. There is a live stream every day. I often watch them on the separate device that I cannot comment, but I use it as a hangout. As somebody doing stuff with me while I'm working on something, and
that's brilliant.
It's always nice to just have a company of like-minded person.
That is very interesting. What a wonderful thing. And now to look at it, Olga, thank you so much, because that's made me think now. I used to have that interaction with the TV, and I don't anymore, but I have the interaction with Rachel. But it's interesting that even though sometimes I'm working while I'm watching, I'm not disinterested. I am watching it, but sometimes those ideas I can put in the book. It is very interesting that it's like a background element that really inspires you.
That even have a professional name. It's called body doubling, when you need somebody else's presence to perform the task.
Oh, I'm going to write that down.
More than you every day.
That's like stuntmen, isn't it?
I think that we will wrap it for today, but definitely we will. I would like to talk with you more. Rachel will get that new mic, and from upcoming news, of course, we have a live stream, sometimes two, in Jama every day. Tomorrow we are celebrating birthday of Lou and again.
Yeah.
So yes, so like that will be a great opportunity to craft together. I'm trying to convince Lou to make a spontaneous live stream for her birthday. And thank you for today, ladies. Definitely, if there will be any questions in the comments, we can get back to them sometime from now, and we will. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed.
I did really enjoyed that, and just next time I'm hoping that Rachel's mic's okay and stuff, because Rachel's she is the voice of reason. She is the voice of reason and brings you back, and that people need to hear that. But at the moment, she's just blurry for me. But Rachel's never been blurry.
But she can speak.
Yay!
Or not.
Or not.
Okay.
You can answer questions though. You can answer the questions.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, never mind. We'll do another one.
No worry about it, Rachel, because like if you have shy internet, we cannot do nothing about it.
No. It's normally me.
Just human.
Yep, that is true. Rachel said that we are all human, and I assumed that. Yeah. So we will not allow that technical difficulties to disturb us.
Just my mom.
And that's why you are voice of reason, because you can find a positive in every situation. And with that, I will wrap us up and see you everyone quite soon.
Thank you so much for your time.